Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast, which, of course, is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need, online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, big, huge, massive story came out today about Fani Willis and her, well, I guess her gigolo boyfriend is the accurate descriptor, Nathan Wade, who testified to Congress. And we got all kinds of information. And I thought the best way to do it was just to read through this article, because and the reason I'm going to read through this article, and Kathy and I'll talk about it as I read through it, the media are not going to want to report this, okay? So you're not going to get very many detailed stories on this in the news. They're going to, just like yesterday was Kamala Harris's 60th birthday, zero news coverage. You know, there's a lot of things that they don't want you to know about, including this. So I thought I would read through the story so we can get all the details, and we'll discuss it as we go along. This is from the Daily Mail, but it's being reported in other places as well. Okay, so listen to this. This is nuts. Nathan Wade admitted to Congress that his lover, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, was planning to prosecute Donald Trump before she took the job. Now, first off, like Letitia James, who said, I'm going to do, she was promising people. That's illegal, okay? You can't, when you're a prosecutor, you're like a police officer, you can't say, I'm going to get that person. They've done no crime. You have to first have a crime. You don't pick out a person and start searching for crimes.
In fact, he also said that, well, I'll let you read the article.
Yeah, we'll get through. Yeah, I mean,
it's shocking.
That's illegal. And I'm here to tell you something. Fani could end up in the Fulton County Jail. She could. She's committed some major, absolutely. Republicans subpoenaed Wade to get to the bottom of his involvement in the politicized prosecution of President Trump, led by Fani Willis. The pair have been, of course, in this scandal since the romantic and financial relationship came to light after Fani Willis appointed Wade special prosecutor. According to a transcript of his closed-door deposition, see, now this is what pisses me off. This should not be closed-door. This should have been live on TV. A lot of times they do closed-door hearings because there's classified information involved, okay? So, like, if it involves classified information, fine. Have a closed-door hearing, I get it. But with things like this, the only thing here that they're hiding is embarrassment. And what they do in these hearings when they're closed-door, there'll be a television version. Everything's already been said. Everything's already been asked. It's like a redo of what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't like that at all. But anyway, according to a transcript of his closed-door deposition before the House Judiciary Committee last week, reviewed by the Daily Mail, Nathan Wade said he was on the search committee to find prosecutors to go after Trump. Now, keep in mind, they had no crime. They just said, okay, we got to get together. We're going to get this guy. And Nathan Wade admitted that the committee was set up well before Fani Willis took the DA office job January 1st, 2021. She eventually secured an indictment for Trump and 18 others in August 2023 that President Trump has blasted as a hoax and a scam. Nathan Wade also said...
I think this proves it.
Oh, yeah.
But he's the one that's going to weaponize the DOJ.
Uh-huh. Nathan Wade also... the thing is with Fani... her father is a big deal, okay, in Fulton County. He's an attorney for the Black Panthers, which basically is like being a mob attorney. But believe me, the real Black Panthers, not these guys running around now, the Eldridge Cleaver days, and they were out there shooting cops and killing people. Okay, they were really doing some hardcore crimes. And Fani Willis is the daughter of basically a mob lawyer. So all this that's going on,
like Better Call Saul,
she doesn't think she did anything wrong. No. She's a spoiled little girl and she thinks this is just how things run, and I guess they have been up until now.
Well, she also wanted to put her name in history. She fantasized that,
like Letitia James,
she would be the one to. She did get the mugshot, but this is not going to go anywhere.
No,
it's falling apart. This is only going to make it worse for her.
Nathan Wade also said that he met with several officials in the Biden-Harris White House on at least 2 occasions. That's also illegal because you have the federal government working. You have the Biden and Harris team working with the Fani Willis team to prosecute and bring charges against their political opponent. This is what Putin did with that guy in Russia that he sent to the gulag that died.
And Trump will get to the bottom of this.
But he did not elaborate on those meetings, skirting direct questions about the nature of the visits with White House staff, including individuals in the White House counsel's office. He's probably holding back so that he has some stuff to deal with when the criminal prosecutions come around. He wants to be the whistleblower so he doesn't go to jail. Nathan Wade also confirmed that he had meetings with the J6 committee, but he did not provide details of that. The House Judiciary Committee has called Fani Willis's case against Trump politicized, no doubt. The case has been on hold since June. The committee said he managed to get out of answering their questions by saying he couldn't recall or couldn't remember nearly 60 times during the closed-door session. According to the transcript, Nathan Wade also admitted that he had no qualifications for the special prosecutor position that Willis appointed him to. Well, he was having sex with her, so, that was a qualification enough for her. He ignored questions about the personal nature of his relationship with Fani Willis. Committee lawyers asked Nathan Wade if he was ever concerned that if his relationship became public, it would cause an issue with the case. So now I'm getting confused because I didn't think I was coming here to answer questions about my personal life, he fired back. This isn't his personal life. She paid him $700,000 of taxpayer money. She's got a gigolo with him. She was sleeping with him. That's why she was paying him so much.
What did he do for her?
He ran the team to prosecute Trump and was coordinating with these other groups. Well, what's going to happen with this, okay? What's going to happen with this is a lot. And I know a lot of people say, well, nothing's going to become of it. That's not true. Trump's coming back. And, Trump is more popular than ever. And that's not me. That's CNN and MSNBC's polling are saying that Donald Trump is more popular today than he has been at all since he first came down the escalator, which is insane to believe because he's been doing nonstop for almost 10 years, these massive rallies.
That is why these people are terrified of Trump winning, because he will get to the bottom, and they're already trying to set the stage like he's going to go after his political enemies and all this. He's just going to get to the bottom of all these fake.
The lawfare.
Yeah, he's going to get to the bottom of this. Of course, the media is not going to ever tell you the truth.
Well, you have
what's really going on. That's why you got to do your own research.
They have to get to the bottom of the lawfare because this can't be allowed to continue. This is 100% based on everything that's just in that story right there with Nathan Wade. They wanted to bring a criminal case against him. See, they had convinced. They don't understand the Trump supporters. They don't understand the MAGA people. Okay, they think. Remember Obama? They're holding when he was running for. They're holding on to their guns and Bible. Remember all that. Yep. Their opinion of MAGA people is a stereotype that they've created in their Trump derangement, suffering minds. And this is what they thought. Oh, those they call us MAGA crazies, right? Those MAGA crazies, they're all about law and order, right? They support the police, they support the justice system. They don't like. If we get him arrested and get a mugshot, those MAGA crazies will drop him because they support law and order. Now I know that sounds nuts, but that's what they thought. So there was a lot of effort, if you remember, to get a mugshot, and they failed because these federal arrests, they don't necessarily do that, especially for the most famous man in the world. Mm-hmm. So they had those Jack Smith corrupt cases. They didn't get any mugshots. And they finally did in Fulton County. And they really thought that would be it. We would see that mugshot on TV, and we'd be behind DeSantis or Nikki Haley or something. And the opposite has happened. So Donald Trump is more popular than ever for a bunch of the border, crime, the Ukraine, inflation. But one of them is this lawfare that's kind of been forgotten about lately. People, in particular, I think, in minority communities, because President Trump's doing very well with black voters. You've seen he was at a barbershop, all this stuff. People in this country, it's a bipartisan issue. We have all of our partisan disagreements, but we trust in the justice system. Mm-hmm. And when people, in particular black people who have been fighting against the injustice of a justice system forever, see lawfare going on, they rally behind Trump. They don't like it. It scares people. If you can't trust the judges, who can, like whenever there's some outrageous law passed, right? People like Obamacare, people say, well, you know what? It's going to go to the courts and the courts will handle it. And we trust the court. When this kind of stuff happens, like this corrupt judge in New York and Fannie, people they lose faith in the justice system. That's when your whole country falls apart.
Well, and it's happening to a former president and somebody who's the nominee. So
and the next president.
What's really frightening, because people think, what I think and other people think is if they get into power, they're going to go after a lot of people.
If they can
what they're accusing Trump of doing is what they do. They've been doing that. That's what liberals do. They accuse others of what they do. It's a weird personality glitch that they have. And I don't know why they don't realize that people see it. And it's like they're so far down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
They can't see what's going on up top.
And you know what? Exactly. People
refuse to see it.
People say if they can do this to a president of the United States, I remember I had Alan Dershowitz on this program a couple of times, and he had some people harassing him legally. And I was talking and I said this to Alan Dershowitz. I said, you are the most famous attorney in the world, Alan Dershowitz. If they can do this to you, I'm done. And he's like, that's exactly right, Brian. Alan Dershowitz told me that. You're done. If they could get away with this with me, you're done. So people see what they're doing to Donald Trump, and they say, if they can do this to a president, I'm done. That's it. You lose your country. And I'll tell you something. This P. Diddy thing is going to be the downfall of the Democrat Party coming up next year. There was a new detail today. Yeah. They're talking about with a girl who at the time was 13.
She was 13, and she, I guess, snuck out of her house or, didn't tell her parent. This is why you need to always tell your parents where you are and don't sneak out of the house. Somehow went and was hanging around the outside of the music awards or something. Some chauffeur picked
This
her
is
up.
back when P. Diddy was dating J-Lo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was at those.
Boy.
She wasn't there when this happened, but she was at the awards with him.
Well,
that night.
Apparently this chauffeur took her allegedly, so she says, to his house or apartment or wherever in New York, or I think they have him in New York. And there were two other celebrities there that have not been named, and one of the celebrities raped her while Diddy and Celebrity B watched.
By the way, all sex with a 13-year-old is rape.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then Diddy raped her while the other two celebrities
according to the accuser.
According to her. So, I'm waiting for these people for it to come out now. She is now filing a lawsuit. And I'm not sure if they're going after him criminally too, but there's so many people accusing him of things.
This is what's going to happen, okay? The prosecutor said that there are big household names throughout this entire case.
Oh.
And those names are going to be revealed as each case is processed, so they're not doing a big dump. If they do a big dump, people get through it. They're like, they're overwhelmed by it. So,
and he's going to go after, just like in the movie The Accused, where Kelly McGillis went after the guys watching Jodie Foster get raped. That was like the big thing in that movie.
I've never seen.
She was gang raped in a bar, and she accused not only the rapist but the guys that were egging them on, just watching.
Yeah, they're accessories.
This guy's going to do the same thing. He said, "We're going after everybody involved."
Yeah,
the people. If this chauffeur picked her up,
yeah, he's
in trouble. Anybody that watched, anybody that was there, that saw this, even if they didn't participate in the rape, just being there makes you guilty.
Well, this is just one of many cases that are going to come up with Diddy. And here's the thing with that. The Democrats have an obsession with celebrities. And black celebrities since 2008, when the Obamas came in, got the entryway into Washington politics that they didn't really have before. There were always celebrities in Hollywood, but not black celebrities so much. Every once in a while, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Frank Sinatra was with the Reagans, those kind of people. So there's a lot of people that are going to come out in these P. Diddy cases that have been hanging around with all the top Democrats. And this, by the way, I know they did this with Harvey Weinstein. This is going to be bigger than Harvey Weinstein, okay? Much bigger than Harvey Weinstein. And for anybody that says Epstein, Trump had nothing to do with Epstein. As soon as Trump found out what Epstein was about, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, wouldn't let him back in. And
and he was never at a Diddy party.
No, and most of the people with Epstein were top Democrats, like President Clinton flying on his jet. So next year, these Diddy cases, it's not just one case. This whole Diddy thing is going to start to develop, and there's going to be more and more celebrities mentioned, and these are celebrities that are connected to the top Democrats that are running the party today. And it's going to be a big problem for them. They're going to have that. This
interesting.
This lawfare business that's been going on in Fulton County, Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, and throughout New York. Okay, because there's been different levels in New York, Letitia, and then that corrupt judge, all that stuff. This stuff, when he goes after these people, they are going to investigate. Some of these people are going to get arrested. They're going to say that he's doing lawfare. That's not true. You've got bad judges, bad prosecutors, bad attorney generals, and they're misusing their authority as law enforcement officers to persecute people that are not guilty of any crimes. That's got to be dealt with.
It will be, and it's so amazing. Trump is, they said even on MSNBC, he is more popular than he was
any day.
2016 or 2022. He is more popular than ever.
That's right.
He has the people on his side. So all of these things that they're throwing at the wall are just not sticking because the people, first of all, are tired of hearing about it, and they just don't care. They really don't. They're so fatigued on the orange man bad that it's completely falling on deaf ears. All these people, and that's why these pundits are ranting and raving and screaming and speaking louder than normal and becoming unhinged because it's not resonating with people anymore because they did this the first time, they did this the second time, and now they're doing it a third time. And then you got the image of Trump in an apron slinging fries like a regular guy. And it was so funny because I sent my daughter the picture of Trump. And the first thing she said is, oh, he looks like SpongeBob because SpongeBob wears a red tie and works as a fry cook. And she said, that's so cool. And it is kind of cool. So I thought that McDonald's thing was a great moment. And seeing Trump wave through the drive-thru and serving people, it was not a stunt. And even the guy from Young Turks said that it was not a stunt, and that anybody who says it is wrong. They don't see it for what it is. That it was a great move, and it showed the people that Trump can be a regular guy, and he relates, and he's really trying to relate to people and get to know them. And even he said that. And I thought it was a great day and a great moment for Trump and for the country. And I got to tell you, I go on TikTok sometimes, and it is so MAGA. I have never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Every other video, and I don't like videos, so it doesn't show up. Like they'll change your feed based on what you like. I just would flip through, and so many people, young, old, our age, middle age, kids. Trump is hot. Trump is popular. He's the cool guy. And Kamala's a joke, and Tim Walz is a joke, and they all know it, and they can't handle it.
That's right. Now, I want to talk a bit about MyPillow, and with our promo code Kane at checkout, KANE, there's huge savings. And the last week or so, I've been talking about this great special on the MyPillow, which is just $14.88. And, you can use our promo code Kane at checkout and get the deals on all the items at MyPillow.com. You can do all your Christmas shopping there. But, the MyPillows are a great gift for Christmas. First of all, when you get the MyPillows, they come vacuum sealed, okay? And you open it up and you put it in the dryer for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, boom, it's perfect. But it comes vacuum sealed, and it's in a perfect container just to put in a Christmas bag or wrap it up. Perfect Christmas gift. And, it's a great gift for coworkers. If you're a business owner, you're getting things for people at work, the MyPillow is a great gift for your employees, for your Christmas parties. At this price, at $14.88 with our promo code Kane at checkout, it's a great stocking stuffer. It's also light enough that if you're sending gifts to people, you can mail it. And it's very inexpensive because it's so light. It makes a great gift. And anyone you give it to will love it and appreciate it for years to come. But again, you can take advantage of all the specials. Another great Christmas item are the My Slippers. the MyPillow My Slippers, they come in multiple colors and sizes for men and women. They have large and big and wide sizes for the bigger guys. They have smaller sizes for women and children, and every size in between. There's multiple styles, huge deals on those, and free shipping on all orders over $75 with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. And remember, when you use our promo code KANE at checkout, you're supporting all the content that I bring you. The podcast here with Kathy, the radio show in the morning, my YouTube channel, and everything. And we greatly appreciate it. Promo code KANE, KANE, at checkout at mypillow.com. We're going to take a quick break. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy, and we'll be right back.
If you're a cat lover, you know the struggle. Keeping your furry friends from scratching up your furniture can feel like a full-time job, but not anymore, thanks to the cat scratcher from CatScratcherGuy.com. Unlike those flimsy cardboard scratchers that fall apart and leave a mess, these durable cat scratchers are built to last. They're perfect for protecting your furniture and keeping your cat's claws healthy. Use the promo code Brian at checkout and receive 20% off your order. Plus, enjoy shipping for just $3 on any order. Say goodbye to scratched up furniture and hello to happy, healthy cats with CatScratcherGuy.com. Protect your home and treat your cat today. That's CatScratcherGuy.com. And don't forget, use the promo code Brian and save 20%. CatScratcherGuy.com. It's that time of year again, Christmas shopping time, and there's no better place to find unique, personalized gifts than ActicFoxMarket.com. They're your go-to Etsy shop for custom gifts, home decor, accessories, and so much more. Whether you're shopping for a loved one, a coworker, or just looking for something special to give yourself, Arctic Fox Market on Etsy has you covered. They have everything from cozy apparel to custom accessories. You'll find something for everyone, and they're veteran-owned and operated, based out of Texas. Use the promo code FAV25 and save 25% off your entire purchase. They also have fast, free shipping inside the United States. Start shopping right now at ArcticFoxMarket.com and start crossing those names off your Christmas gift-giving list. Unique personal gifts delivered right to your door. ArcticFoxMarket.com. How would you like to have your very own personal trainer wherever you are, wherever you go, and whenever you need it, and at a price you can afford? Sounds impossible, right? Founded by Hoa, a strength and conditioning coach, personal trainer, and professional athlete, Hoa Fitness will give you personalized workouts, nutrition plans, and wellness resources, all in your pocket. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the gym, you'll have your own custom fitness plan tailored specifically to your body and to your goals. Want to lose weight, build muscle, or just feel better and healthier? Hoa Fitness will give you expert-guided workouts as well as meal plans designed for you and your goals. Also included are mental health tools like guided meditations and stress management techniques, because wellness is more than just the physical. Stop juggling multiple apps. Hoa Fitness will bring it all together in one place: fitness, nutrition, and mental well-being. Sign up right now at HoaFitness.com. That's HOHA Fitness.com. Download the app and start your personalized fitness journey right now. Your personal trainer, personal nutritionist, and personal wellness coach right in your pocket. HoaFitness.com, because one size never fits all. HoaFitness.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. You know, we're talking about the P. Diddy and what impact it's going to have on Democrats next year. There's a lot more, too, because, you know, when President Trump comes back into office in January, the books are going to be open. You know how bad things are in the country? Wait until we find out how bad they are.
Oh, yeah.
So let me play this. This
They're afraid of all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. This is from Fox News today.
A horrifying report revealing sex trafficking of minors is quickly becoming the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the United States. And with open border policies fueling the crisis, government agencies cannot keep up. Brooke Taylor is live in Dallas with more. Good morning,
This is crazy.
Dana, good morning. A local nonprofit here in Dallas is working with law enforcement to take down these sex trafficking rings. We spoke to the president of this foundation, who tells me that the reality of the situation is that ordering sex trafficking victims is just as simple as ordering pizza. The president of the Shepherd's Watch Foundation says that you could order a sex trafficking victim as fast as 15 minutes. There's ads on social media and even gaming platforms that look exactly like this. You could select what age, height, and other really disturbing factors. She says the underage victims will usually have emojis covering their faces, and many are branded with tattoos.
There's been a huge paradigm shift, especially in the sex ads. We're seeing up to 90% are mainly migrants, where we used to work domestic cases.
And just last week, Texas DPS found a massive group of 57 unaccompanied children. Once they're processed, many are falling through the cracks and then get literally lost, becoming vulnerable to traffickers. According to a recent audit from the Office of Inspector General, over the past 4 fiscal years, 32,000 unaccompanied children failed to appear for their immigration hearings. As of May of this year, ICE also didn't serve notices to appear on more than 291,000 unaccompanied minors. The Homeland Security Investigations Dallas office tells Fox that sex trafficking is a bigger issue than many realize and impacts many different cities across our country.
It can happen in schools. It can happen in neighborhoods. It's not just any one specific area that you can pinpoint it to, unfortunately. It's an epidemic, unfortunately, in society.
And again, authorities tell us that this is not just a Texas issue. These traffickers will move the victims throughout the country, targeting different cities, big cities, small and rural areas. Dana.
Okay. Yeah, Dana Perino on Fox. I don't like Dana Perino, but she had that story. This is...
What a scary time to have children in this country.
Well, a couple of things came out of that. Over 300,000 children from the southern border are missing, unaccountable.
Yep,
over 300,000.
That's what Trump talked about.
And the report said sex trafficking is the fastest growing business in America. It's crazy. And, listen, a lot of things separate Republicans and Democrats, right? Abortion, affirmative action, involvement in this war or that war. And for most of these things, what we think's clear, but with a lot of these things, there's always room for debate, but there's some things that aren't.
You would think
they're called taboos. And what the Democrats are doing is enabling, backing, supporting, and allowing the worst taboos of all, like this, to continue. I mean,
they're more concerned with making Trump look bad than reporting the truth. Because anything that's going to make him look good, they're not going to report it. I mean, Fox reported it, but you're not going to see it. I mean, Trump even talked about in that debate with ABC how crime has gone up, and David Muir said no, it hasn't. I mean, they just flat out lie.
Well,
because they don't want to make Trump look good.
Well, what does Kamala Harris tell herself? She hears a story like this. What does she tell herself? It's not true. She knows it's true.
Yeah, that's what she tells herself. That's what
she
people
knows it's
do.
True. And the thing about Kamala,
I don't think she even gives a damn one way or the other.
Kathy and I a couple times over the weekend watched a little bit of the Kamala speeches. Right, they were on YouTube, and I watch them because I want to know what goes on there. It's a little weird. I'm listening to these Kamala speakers, and they're on another planet than we're on. I don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah. They live in another world.
But when Kamala comes up, mostly what she talks about is abortion and a woman's right to choose and body autonomy. That's a big thing she's talking about. With sex trafficking being the fastest growing business in the United States, it's not just children, it's women and men, mostly female, of course, obviously. Mm-hmm. Where's her concern about body autonomy and a person's right to choose what to do with their own body?
Brian, these are people that think it's okay to abort a baby up to the 9th month.
Yeah, well, they deny that, but we know they support it.
They are evil. They are evil. This is what you're dealing with.
Well, just to finish this before we get to that. What's going to happen when Trump comes back in, like he was at this town hall yesterday with Sage Steele, who I was like so impressed with Sage Steele. I've heard of her before. She was on ESPN and they got rid of her because she's conservative. They told her she was making the other staff uncomfortable. So she,
a black woman, by the way.
Yeah, she's very good and very polished, and I know why we haven't seen her outnumbered. Harris Faulkner and the women at Fox don't want Sage Steele anywhere around there. I know she's probably been on, but they don't want her to be around there regularly. She's too good. I was watching her handle that town hall and the people in the crowd. She's very good. But
Harris Faulkner probably has a clause in her contract that she can only be the only black woman there.
I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, when Trump was talking with Sage Steele at this town hall over the weekend, he said it's not just murderers they're bringing in. He says many of these murderers have committed multiple murders. He said one guy that he knows about has murdered 9 people, and they let them in. So, all this stuff is true. The sex trafficking, the child trafficking.
It's all true.
The murderers.
But the liberals will tell you either that it's not true or they just will ignore it.
When Trump comes in January and his people are in office, the real story about how bad this last 3.5 years have been is going to start to come out.
That's what they're afraid of.
And we're going to start to see what they knowingly allowed to take place. I'm talking about like these criminals that have come in and this exploitation.
All of this stuff will be exposed, and that, I believe, is why Trump that's what his purpose is. And he has told people that since he survived 2 assassination attempts, he believes he's here for a purpose. And I believe, and I've said this before, his purpose is to expose the corruption. And a lot of this corruption has just been because of their hatred towards him.
Yeah.
They have so much hatred. So I have an update on McDonald's. I've been waiting for McDonald's to release a statement about Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, tell me what you think of this, because they're not. I followed McDonald's on X, and then I unfollowed them because you know why? They didn't post anything about Trump going to McDonald's in their feed yesterday. So that really pissed me off. Nothing. Earlier today, former President Trump visited a McDonald's restaurant in Pennsylvania following a request made to our local franchisee. As we've seen, our brand has been a fixture of conversation this election cycle. While we've not sought this, it's a testament to how much McDonald's resonates with so many Americans. McDonald's does not endorse candidates for elected office, and that remains true in this race for the next president. We are not red or blue. We are golden. That's fine. But this is the interesting part. Though we are not a political brand, we've been proud to hear former President Trump's love for McDonald's and Vice President Harris's fond memories working under the Golden Arches. Now, here's the interesting part. While we and our franchisees don't have records for all positions dating back to the early 80s, blah, blah, blah. So, conveniently, which this I don't believe for a second, okay? She didn't work in the 1910s.
Yeah.
How is it possible that the company, and I told you guys this, if she never worked for them, the proof is they haven't come out and said it. Because if most of these companies are woke. If she had never worked for them, which I believe she has not, and they were MAGA, they would release a statement saying there's no record of her working here. But because they're not saying that and they're being very vague, like we don't all have all the... You mean to tell me this corporate, one of the biggest corporations in the world, and this is not before the age of... They have records. They don't have a record of her. They don't have records back in the 80s. In the major company, that's just baloney.
Well, there's tax records because she had to pay taxes, payroll records.
Especially living in Canada.
So here's the thing, though. That statement is from McDonald's USA.
Yep.
Okay, not McDonald's Canada. And I think she made the whole story up.
Yeah.
Okay? But if she worked at McDonald's, it was in high school, not college. Okay? And she's been very vague. She hasn't said when it was. But it was
somebody said college. Somebody said high school.
No,
so it's,
people are starting to say college now because the whole thing about it is
because she went to college in America.
Yeah, she either made it up or she doesn't want people to focus in on the Canadian thing. But
she made it up.
I'm here to tell you, okay. I have people that connect with me through like Facebook and other social media. Sometimes Instagram and things like this. That I worked with at my first job at Publix, that was my first clock-in job, which was like 86 or 7. It was the summer of 86 or the summer of 87 when I started. It may have been 87.
Publix would have records of that.
So, but even if they didn't, it would not be difficult to find someone that I worked with just on Instagram or Facebook back then.
How come nobody has come forward and said, I worked with her?
Yeah, they would say, oh, yeah, I remember working with Brian. Sometimes I've even, because, Kathy and I grew up down here where I'm on the radio, and there have been multiple, when I first started at Publix, I was a bag boy, and I was a bag boy for 6 months. And when you're at Publix here in Florida, they don't do it like they're supposed to. But the bag boys are supposed to take the groceries to your car for you. It's part of the service. Although they don't do it anymore unless you ask. And you get the same customers every week. And I've done personal appearances, and there have been people that come to see me, and they didn't remember me as their bag boy, but I remember bagging their groceries.
Right, isn't that funny?
And I would tell them, I said, I remember you. I used to bag your groceries. They're like, what are you talking about? And I said, and I would tell them what car they drove.
In fact, that football player just died, that Dolphin. Yeah, Mercury Morris. And you told me I used to bag his groceries.
He used to come to my Publix. He had his Super Bowl ring on, Mercury Morris. Yeah. And this happened many times. But just through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, there are people that follow me there that reach out to me that I haven't seen in many years, but I worked with back then. If she worked at McDonald's with all this thing going on, with Trump doing the French fry thing over the weekend, they would have at least one person that she worked with at that McDonald's saying, yeah, I used to work with Kamala at the McDonald's.
This statement by McDonald's proves that she's a liar, because they could easily verify it and say, just to set the record straight, she did work for us. Boom. But she didn't, and they don't want to come out and say it. So this is what they're saying instead. Not all franchisees have records.
And she could produce the records because she's the sitting vice president of the United States. She could get all of her payroll records from the government because she's had to pay taxes. And she could produce her tax records.
Nobody has talked about her life in Canada at all.
None.
Nobody.
No one.
Even reporters on the right, I don't understand, again, have not looked into her life. All we know is she was born in California, and then she moved to Canada at 9, and then went to college here, went to Howard and University, and then went to law school in California. But we don't know anything else about her. All we know is Willie Brown. She was a prosecutor. We don't have any photos of her in court. There's nothing of this woman
by the way, guys,
that proves anything she said is true.
And in California, the courts are televised in California. That's why there's most of the high profile trials, not all, but most of the high profile trials in the United States have been in California.
Right.
Not just because there's celebrities out there, but because everything's televised, so it can be on TV, right? So the idea that there's no video of her in a courtroom arguing one of these criminal cases she's always bragging about, or even a photograph, it tells me she never argued a case in front of a jury, even though she was the district attorney or the attorney general. And this thing about McDonald's, I've watched a few stories on YouTube done by the news in Canada where they've done stories on Kamala where they've gone and interviewed friends of hers from high school in Canada.
Right.
I don't remember them mentioning anything about a McDonald's.
Oh, I wanted to tell you something interesting. My cousin lives in Toronto. My mom's family, my mom's from Canada, and her whole family still lives in Toronto. And my cousin Heather, who her husband's a retired lawyer, she told my mom that Kamala is very tight with Trudeau.
Oh my goodness, that's awful.
And they speak regularly.
Why?
And he advises her.
Because she's Canadian.
He advises her. They're very tight. So that's who she's taking advice from. So don't buy
Trudeau.
this stuff that she's all of a sudden changed positions on 15 things. She's a radical socialist, okay? And she will run and by the way, everybody hates Trudeau in Canada.
Who would take advice from Trudeau? That's insane. He's an idiot.
He is an idiot. Well, so is she. So, like mine, birds of a feather.
That's what they talk about in Canada. That's like the word on the streets of Toronto. This is what my cousin
told me, and her husband worked for a very high-profile law firm, so she knows people, and she said...
it's a small country. It's a big country, but a small population.
She said she talks to... Everybody knows her and Trudeau are tight. They're best friends. They talk almost daily, and that she gets advice from him all the time.
You know,
so there you go.
This thing about McDonald, I know a lot of people think that too much is being made about this, but you look at her and Tim Walz, both of their entire backgrounds are fabricated, you know? Yeah. And you don't want to hand the country over to people that have fabricated their entire backstory and resumes and that you don't know anything about. You know, typically when people come to, there's some exceptions to this, like Obama, and look what a disaster he was. When people come to the White House, you know who they are. Bill Clinton was governor, you know, twice.
She was a senator,
Arkansas,
they'll say.
For 5 minutes. For 5 minutes.
Like Obama.
Donald Trump has been a celebrity since the 70s.
And a businessman.
And a well-known businessman in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So he was well-known. Joe Biden, as much of a scumbag as he is, he's been in D.C. Since Nixon was president. So most of us, he's been there most of our lives, many Americans their entire lives. He's well-known. You know, and Jimmy Carter was governor. People knew him. You know, we were talking about Jimmy Carter, the Bushes. People, you know, they were around. He was vice president for 8 years. He had been around for a long time, and everybody knew was. You know, when you bring these people in that you know nothing about, it's really scary because, you know, not only do you not know anything about them, you don't know who they know. Like this thing you're talking about with Trudeau, and Kamala has gone through 2 elections with skipping the primaries. And the primary purpose of the primaries, I've come to realize, I never thought about it this way before. Maybe you all did. I just never thought about it this way. But the primary purpose that the primaries serve is for you to get to know the candidates. And what happens is they get vetted. And because they're public, they're in these different states, things come out. I mean, look at what happened with Ron DeSantis. I'll give you an example with DeSantis. Even if DeSantis didn't betray Trump. Like, say DeSantis was running in 4 years, he still would have fizzled out because if you remember, it's in Iowa. These people in Iowa said in person he was very weird and nervous. He only talked to donors. He was too shy with people. And remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
And then the thing with the heels and the shoes. Nikki Haley, she became a clown for stupid things she says. That they get weeded out in the primaries. Kamala has escaped all that.
No, she did get weeded out in the primary.
Oh, in the first one
to leave.
She left before the first.
That's
but
right.
She left before the first vote. She didn't.
She got weeded out. They didn't like her.
She had one after that second Democrat debate. She didn't go through any of the votes though. She had 1% support, and that's when she dropped out.
Exactly.
And
so that she was weeded out like that. She didn't even make the first round.
Kamala's campaign announced today, and I think she's given up. I think she's really given up.
Yeah.
They announced today she's cutting back. Remember, 2 weeks from the election, she's cutting back on her campaigning to practice for some interviews she's doing. She's doing an interview on NBC with Norah O'Donnell and some other interview with another friend of hers somewhere.
The fact that she has to practice
exactly
an interview, that tells me she has to memorize her lines. It's scripted. It's all scripted.
It's a
None
cover
of it's
story.
going to help. And I told you, I think she's given up like Mitt Romney. What do you think about Nikki Haley working with Trump? Because he said she will be working. I don't like it. I don't trust her.
I don't trust her. Either does Trump. He doesn't trust her.
I hope she doesn't have a part in, because she would be a Mike Pence. She would be a traitor.
You can't trust her.
She would be
you cannot
leaking
trust
things
Nikki
to the
Haley.
press. Yeah. So, but he said that she will have somewhat. Right now, you have RFK Jr., Tulsi, Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, all these people doing rallies on their own. Elon Musk is actually, this is amazing to me. This is a guy who's probably the most intelligent guy on the planet.
Richest man in the world.
He's the richest man in the world. And he is going around campaigning and holding rallies of his own
in Pennsylvania
that people are going to. He just gave away $1 million yesterday.
Yeah, and now the governor of Pennsylvania wants to investigate him for giving away $1 million.
He can give his money to whoever the hell he wants.
Exactly.
He's not a politician, but it's amazing to me. So now Nikki Haley, who I think is so unlikable with her tight lips, and she's just a weird-looking woman.
Military industrial complex.
I don't think Trump needs her, and I don't know why. Maybe he just said it. Why bring her on now?
Couple reasons.
It's 2 weeks away.
I'll tell you.
We don't need her for South Carolina.
I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Keep your enemies close, you know.
Okay,
but
that's one reason.
But
what's the other reason?
unfortunately, she's in bed with these Republican establishment people, and he wants the Republican establishment people with him to get through this hump until after the election. So I think he's bringing her in to satisfy the Republican establishment people, so they don't screw him over and support him through the election, because we don't, you got to make deals with bad guys sometimes, and she's one of those bad guys. Sometimes the United States makes deals with dictators around the world because they have to get through a particular issue, and that's basically what he's doing with Nikki Haley. There's no way Trump trusts Nikki. In fact, if you remember at the Republican convention, when she spoke and he was watching, she says, "I'm here because President Trump asked me to be here." And he remember the lip reader came out and he said, "That's not true. She called and asked me." Remember that?
Exactly.
So Trump doesn't trust her. He doesn't like her. And her own husband doesn't trust her. She was having sex with men in the family car in parking lots, remember?
I want to play a few sound bites of Kamala today. She's with Liz Cheney, another loser. So here's something that she said. I'm sure it makes no sense.
I'll tell you, and I know this is a controversial topic for many of us, I love Gen Z.
There goes the laugh.
Because we have Gen Zs in our lives. We have kids who are Gen Zs. It can be complicated, I know.
Okay, here's another one. Let me go back.
Does she think that's going to get her the youth vote just because she says that? And
remember, she said people that are young are stupid. Remember, she said that? Listen to this. Here's another one.
I've taken the oath of office 6 times. And for the elected leaders here, we know it is an oath that one must take sincerely and unequivocally, which is an oath, among other things, to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and to understand what those principles represent and what they require of the individual who holds the office in the public trust. And let's not undervalue that point as well.
What does that even mean?
I just have never heard somebody speak like this.
Yeah, she
has
nothing.
Such a weird use of grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, she uses transitional words, lots of adverbs.
That's how they talk in Canada.
Sincerely, unequivocally. I mean, she never gets to the point, and it's what's so funny is she thinks she's so profound.
Mm-hmm.
She's profoundly stupid.
Yeah.
She's stupid. I mean, Elon Musk, well, I think he was talking about Joe Biden, had hardly any neurons left, and she might be a close second. But I don't understand it. The only reason people are voting for her is they hate Trump so much. But I got to tell you, there's a lot of people I've seen on social media that now love Trump that never thought they would. And they're like, I love the guy. I never thought I would love him. Or they're like, you know what? I don't love the guy, but I don't care.
Yeah.
The country is so screwed up that I'm voting for the guy. And he said that, and I think that's a message he needs to hammer home. Like, look, you don't have to like me. This is not a popularity contest. The first time he ran, I think he didn't drive that home enough. He really, he likes people to like him. We all do. But now he's like, look, you don't have to like me. That doesn't matter. Yeah. It's about the country. It's not about whether you like me or not. And you really, really have to be honest with yourself, not lie to yourself. And you know what? When you're voting, nobody's in the voting booth with you.
That's true.
So you can vote for whoever the hell you want. You could tell your friends you voted for Kamala. You could tell your coworkers you voted. But you know what? You can really vote for Trump if you really want to, and nobody will know. It's just between you and the voting piece of paper.
A couple things to wrap
so
up
do the
this
right
segment.
thing.
The thing with Nikki, another thing with Nikki Haley, and I get to the stuff with Kamala and people not liking Trump, which I don't understand. I think he's awesome. I love Trump. The thing with Nikki Haley too, Trump is running a campaign like it's his third presidential campaign, and he's running this campaign a lot in many different ways than he has before, and he is paying attention to polling. And there's something about women that tells him he needs Nikki Haley. That's another reason why he's got Nikki Haley in the mix.
Maybe
he doesn't want to alienate women. When the Republicans gave women the vote in 1920, that was the beginning of all this nonstop talk about abortion. Women care. I think women care more about inflation because I think in most households, I think women take care of the family budget, the food shopping, and everything. And I think women are more. I think women are more than just about abortion. I think most of them are concerned about the economy and then other things. But that's another reason with Nikki Haley. Now, this thing with Kamala and Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney's entire success, political career, which is now a failure, and all the money she has, she's a war profiteer from a war criminal father. And, this would be like having the endorsement of Ava Braun. I mean, she is, Dick Cheney knowingly lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, blew up that war, and we had a 20-year war going on in Afghanistan. I don't know how, and remember that Muslim Spring and all that stuff that happened? Mm-hmm. That was all an offshoot. I know Obama was president then, but that all began because of Bush and Cheney and their WMD lies. When they took out Saddam, they destabilized. Remember talking about doing deals with dictators. When they took out Saddam Hussein, they created complete anarchy in the Middle East. Nothing could convince me that they couldn't get bin Laden, that we had to have a 20-year war to get bin Laden. Yeah. And so everything she has is because of her father's war. And, there's a new commercial for the, I think it's Tunnels to Towers, where they have this. Kathy and I support Wounded Warriors and Tunnels to Towers. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think they're incredible. There's a new one with this guy who's an Army major who's blind.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of his eyes look like they were melted, okay, if you see him. That's because of Liz Cheney's father and his lies about weapons of mass destruction. And she's a terrible person. And for Kamala Harris to sit down with a war profiteer and the daughter of a war criminal is twisted. And every time I see a Wounded Warrior or Tunnels to Tower commercial, and you see either a widow with her kids, or you see an American hero like this Army major whose eyes are gone and he's completely blind and he's got the mortgage-free home now, first thing that goes through my mind is George Bush. The second thing that goes through my mind is Dick Cheney. And then right after that, Liz Cheney. And for Liz Cheney to go out there and take issue with the integrity and morality of Donald Trump,
well,
when she's sitting there with her life is sick.
A lot of these people, most of these people that hate Trump, it's really about deflecting off of their immoral life.
That's right.
Bill Maher, Mark Cuban, God knows what he's got going on. All these celebrities.
What a weirdo. Has he lost enough weight too?
In fact, Bill Maher said he looked like Rachel Maddow.
Yeah.
All these celebrities, the men and the women are, I don't know if they're all on Ozempic, but they all look like they haven't eaten in months, like really thin.
It's Ozempic.
Like really bad. They look awful. The men are shrinking. But all these people that hate Trump, it's really, they don't even know the guy. It's really about deflecting off of their own, and he's become the beacon for all of their self-hatred. They put it on him. They put it on him. Make no mistake about it.
Well, listen, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. We just got hit by a big hurricane in Florida a couple weeks ago, Milton. It was pretty, I put the last of our hurricane generator gas in my car yesterday. We store up gas for the hurricanes, and if we don't get the hurricane and we don't need the generator, I just don't have to buy gas for a couple of weeks. But I used the last 10 gallons yesterday. If you're in the state of Florida and you have roof damage or need roof replacement from the recent hurricanes or just the rains we've been having, because we've been having nonstop rains, call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. He's a good MAGA guy. He will never sell you a roof you do not need. He gives out his cell phone number to our listeners only, okay? This is, if you go to the company website, his cell phone number is not there, but he gives it out to you guys. And if you mention me, Brian Craig, when you call, you get put to the front of the list, okay, of those who get help. They do incredible work. I've seen their work. If you go to my YouTube channel, I made a YouTube video on a mansion that they did the roof on, which was a beautiful mansion. You should see it. And it just tells you the kind of work they do. They're artisans, not just roofers. But they work on every type of structure, and you don't have to live in a mansion for Tom Laporta to help you. If you live in a small single-family home like Kathy and I do, if you live in a condo, if you live in a condo community that has 50 buildings or 150 buildings and you need roof work, he can handle that. He works on municipal buildings, schools, churches. He was just involved with the renovation of a church here in Florida by replacing the roof during a church restoration. He does incredible work. And again, he will never sell you a roof you do not need. Roofing is one of the biggest businesses in Florida because we're Hurricane Alley. I have never heard another roofer say they will not sell you a roof you do not need. If you just need a simple repair, he will do it. So here's Tom Laporta's cell phone number. Give him a call, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. For Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take our last break and be right back.
From author Susie Terry comes a romance novel that will sweep you off your feet. Stilettos and Stetsons, a website romance. In Stilettos and Stetsons, meet Sophia. She's a widow living in sunny Cabo San Lucas. And Rex, he's a rugged Texan rancher searching for a new beginning. When these two connect through an online dating app, their worlds collide in a whirlwind of passion, hope, and unexpected challenges. But long-distance love is never easy. You'll follow Sophia's brave journey as she leaves her coastal life behind and enter Rex's world in Texas. With family, friends, and old fears standing in their way, will love truly conquer all? And can they overcome the hurdles of their past and build a future together? Find out when you read Stilettos and Stetsons, a website romance from author Susie Terry. Available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover edition on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, Apple Books, and other online booksellers, as well as the author's website, terry-books.com. Love knows no boundaries. Order your copy today. Stilettos and Stetsons, a website romance from author Susie Terry. When it comes to safety at work, you deserve the best. Protex-DZ.com equips workers just like you with top quality safety gear and workwear that's designed to protect and enhance your performance. Whether you work in construction, healthcare, road work, warehouse work, and more, Protex-DZ.com have what you need and what you're looking for. From durable steel-toe safety sneakers, tactical military boots, or construction rain boots, your feet will be protected in any environment. Need head protection? No problem. Protex-DZ.com carry everything from construction helmets to anti-fog gas masks. They even have face shields. And don't forget about hand protection. Their selection includes industrial gloves, kitchen gloves for restaurant workers, welder gloves, and even insulated gloves for electricians. When you're looking for custom gear, Protex-DZ.com have an incredible selection of print-on-demand items, including phone cases, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. You can customize them for holidays like Halloween and Christmas, and they ship worldwide. Visit the store right now at Protex-DZ.com. View the inventory. You will be impressed. You can also find them on Facebook at ProtexDZ. And right now, their countdown discount has started. Buy one item, get 20% off. Buy two, receive 25% off. And buy three, you'll get a 30% discount. Protex-DZ.com. Your partner in safety, performance, and style. Protex-DZ.com. Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88. And free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get the standard MyPillow for just $14.88, the lowest price ever. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. You know, we were talking on our last podcast episode about Dave Ramsey endorsing Trump. And he did a big sit-down interview that's like 90 minutes long with Tucker Carlson, Dave Ramsey. And, you know, Dave Ramsey, I was telling you guys, I've always felt he was a little not my thing. But I got a lot of feedback from some listeners after that last show. They're like, you used his method to pay off your credit cards. Yes, that's true. We did that. You know,
That's not his method. I mean, a lot
the
of people,
snowball method. No, that's a common thing.
That he didn't invent that method, but we just got the idea from listening to him like 15 years ago. But he didn't invent.
Well,
that.
whatever. But we did. Yeah, but
we just heard about it from him.
But this is the thing, though. Okay, Dave Ramsey going on Tucker. He endorsed Trump. Now he's on Tucker.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey's huge. Okay, the Dave Ramsey show is bigger than people realize, and I don't know if what his reach is on radio these days, but online, his podcast and YouTube channel are massive. In fact, I saw a couple months back, I saw an interview with the guy that runs his YouTube channel, who was talking about their YouTube strategies. They have millions of people that watch him online, just on YouTube, each and every week.
Right.
And his reach is wide. And you have, if you notice, what the people that are coming out in support of Trump are serious people. Dave Ramsey, Elon Musk, these are serious people. You know, Bruce Springsteen is never going to have a hit song again. His career's over.
Right.
Okay? He's got nothing to lose, nothing to gain, just wants a little fame to sell his old records on Spotify these days. Dave Ramsey is at the top of his game, and he's not a political person for a guy, and either is Elon Musk. Elon Musk and Dave Ramsey are business people.
Right.
And, you know, when you have business people, successful business people, and their fields, the most successful, Dave Ramsey, there's been a lot of financial gurus that have come and gone, and I would say that Dave Ramsey is probably the most successful financial guru, not just in America today, but in the last 20, 30, 40 years. It's kind of a financial guru, and everybody knows Elon Musk's success. When you have, when you want to be successful at something, this is something I learned long ago. When you want to be successful at something, you look at people that are successful at what you want to be a success at, and you go to them for advice, or you model yourself after what what they've done. Okay, the economy of this country is a wreck. Okay, you go to the grocery store and look at the prices. It is freaking scary.
Yeah,
it's scary. Come on, and these celebrities are losing weight because they're taking Ozempic.
But they don't even have to buy food anymore.
Exactly. They don't care. The rest of the country are losing weight because they can't afford the foods they want to eat.
Exactly.
Not Ozempic. And when Trump comes back in January, he's got a lot of things on his plate, but one of them is turning the economy around. And he's going to be getting advice from people like Dave Ramsey and Elon Musk.
Exactly.
And look who the Democrats get advice from. PhDs that went to college, got a PhD in economics,
life experience,
never worked in a private business,
experts,
worked at a university, then somehow they get appointed to a Fed position,
eggheads,
and they've never been out there. It was like when Trump did that sit down with that idiot from Bloomberg last week and cleaned his clock. That guy thinks he's some big financial expert. Trump is a leading economist. Trump takes financial guidance and advice from people that actually have working experience with the economy, not in theory.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and Dave Ramsey.
I couldn't believe I saw, there's this woman on CNN sometimes, I don't know who, she's got the biggest mouth, she never shuts up, and she was arguing with Kevin O'Leary, who's a billionaire.
Oh, I saw that.
Who owns multiple businesses, works with China.
From Shark Tank.
And she's arguing with him, well, this expert said this, and he said, I literally do business in China. I know, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, but this expert, it's like that scene in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield where he's in the class with the professor, the economics professor, and he's telling everybody how to set up a business. And then Rodney Dangerfield says, yeah, but you gotta pay off this guy. You got to pay off that guy. And he's like, well, we don't teach that in here. He said, yeah, but that's how the world works. Yeah. Like Trump, when he donated to politicians, he said that's what you got to do to get anything done. That's the way it works.
That's right.
So you're dealing with people on the left that live in theories and in a fantasy world that does not exist. And then you deal with people like Trump who do live in the real world and know how the world operates. And that's how it works. And like I said, when you vote, nobody's in there with you, and you can vote for whoever the hell you want, okay? You could tell people whoever you want that you voted for if you're embarrassed for whatever reason, but you really need to think about who is better at running the government like a business, and do you really think Kamala is going to be running anything? And if so, let me tell you, you're seeing laughing Kamala, happy Kamala now.
Drunk
when
Kamala.
She gets elected, you're going to see mean Kamala and censorship Kamala and the yelling, screaming, nasty Kamala that takes away your rights and tells you what you can and cannot do and say. And if you think things are bad now, wait till Trump. If Trump loses, if he's out of politics, that terrifies me. The thought of him not being in politics
they'll
anymore.
Have a purge. A purge will begin. They'll start.
I mean, they will go after Elon first. He's their top guy.
They'll
go
him.
After Tucker. You're free. They're gonna. Mark Cuban wants to buy X. Can you imagine? That guy is so desperate for power. You will not. Your free speech will be gone. Totally. You will be censored. You will be monitored. And I'm not kidding. I'm not speaking in hyperboles here. That is what's going to happen because they don't want this to ever happen again. They've lost control of the people in their mind. They've lost control of the government, and they cannot let that happen again. Okay? Just think of all the things they've tried to do to Trump to stop him. That should alone scare you and make you think, God, I mean, this is bad if they're trying to kill this guy, you know, to stop him from being the president. Why are they doing that?
And, you know, this thing with Dave Ramsey.
They're scary people.
You know, when you got a guy who's not political, he's not. He's a financial guru. He's a kind of like Dr. Laura, but for finances. When someone like that comes out and endorses someone and then goes on Tucker, endorses Trump, then goes on Tucker.
Yeah, that's huge.
And that endorsement of Trump was, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days ago now. I haven't heard any negative blowback about him. Like he's lost listeners, he's lost viewers, nothing. Same thing with Elon Musk. You know, it's amazing what you're seeing here. And these are guys that have something to risk. Bruce Springsteen isn't risking anything. These Hollywood liberals like Jennifer Garner, you know, she's out there campaigning for Harris.
All these men in Hollywood are looking like women. They're all becoming very effeminate. Maybe they were always, and they're just letting their freak flag fly.
Well, they're actors.
But they're all looking very
girly
small
men.
and tiny, and they're like shrinking and very effeminate. It's really strange.
Well, I think it's awesome what's going on here, and we're really lucky to be a part of it. And I get goosebumps thinking that we're just 2 weeks away from President Trump becoming president-elect again. It's with everything that he's gone through, it's an absolute miracle. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And remember, Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes on the Patreon page. And if you would like to have access to commercial-free editions of our podcast, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to our Patreon page in the description of this and every episode of the program, as well as in the description of my YouTube videos and my YouTube live streams. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every podcast episode. So these names you're going to hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. And again, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description of the episode if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.